Good morning. So let's talk competitor analysis. Now, I put a poll out recently on LinkedIn to find out how often businesses are actually looking at their competitors. And what I found that was quite interesting is most businesses who's responded to the poll, their general response was not that often. And a lot of them didn't really see the value of it because they thought, well, their services outshine their competitors. And I think this is a really interesting point because, well, how do you know that you're outshining your competitors if you're not actually looking at what they're doing? Because they could come out with something completely new and game changing to the market. And if you're not watching what they're doing, you'd never know. So I think competitor analysis is a vital part of your kind of market research, and when you're doing your business planning and your marketing plan, because there are distinct parts in terms of competitor analysis, because you've got things like understanding your industry landscape and your SWOT analysis, so looking for the opportunities, looking for the threat side, which is more often on the business planning. But you also need to know what your competitor is doing in terms of things like marketing. So, are they doing anything new on the marketing front? Have they got new lead magnets? What is their following like? Have they massively increased their following? So there are different parts in terms of the competitor analysis to be looking at. But, ultimately, I would strongly advise that competitor analysis should be a key part. Now, I appreciate that if you are a small business, like for example, a solopreneur, etc., doing something like this, you feel like it's taking you away from what you should be doing. And I get it, because we, as solopreneurs, we're very much in a situation where we are always literally firefighting all of the time. The list never feels like it goes down, and it is an endless task. And what people tend to focus on is the client delivery. And don't get me wrong, the client delivery is a really, really vital part. So I would say to the businesses out there who potentially are smaller businesses, do your competitor analysis. I would say if you can every 6 months, but even if you do it every 12 months, ideally you want to do it a bit more than that. And in an ideal world, particularly on the marketing front, you would want to be checking what they're doing really on a monthly basis. But I do get the fact that that might not necessarily be plausible, but certainly be checking at least every 12 months. And to be perfectly honest, if you can do a quick flick, once a month, just seeing what they're doing on their socials. Ideally, you want to be tracking it, but even if you're just having a quick look to see, have they got any new offering? What are they doing in terms of their marketing? Are they growing? Having a look at their financials. Even if you say you find 3 to 5 competitors and you look at that information, that really is the absolute ideal scenario. So why is it so important to be doing this? Well, you need to understand your industry landscape. You need to be able to spot potential opportunities, because your competitors might not be doing something that actually you could be, which could give you a complete brand new opportunity in the market. And it also means that you can actually look at things like your unique selling proposition. What makes you unique if you know what your competitors are doing? It helps you identify things like market trends, like, as I said earlier, refine what your offering is, and also ultimately for better customer engagement. Because the worst thing you can possibly hear from a prospect is, well, why should I go to you compared to Joe Bloggs down the road? Or, well, Joe Bloggs is doing this, I actually prefer their style. And if you're not aware of what Joe Bloggs is doing down the street, you then have no way of being able to counteract why, in fact, they should be coming to you compared to Joe Bloggs, right? So ultimately, just to kind of sum up, these are the key reasons why, in my view, competitor analysis is important, right? Ultimately, like I said, it's knowing what these are the things that you should be looking at. Like I said, the SWOT analysis. It's important for gathering data. And ultimately, if you know what their marketing and their positioning is, I think it gives you, honestly, it does give you a strength. So I hope in terms of what I have shared with you today has been of value. It's a bit shorter than normal, but I think ultimately, in summary, the key things in terms of competitor analysis, if you're a smaller business, even if you're just checking once a year, that's better than nothing. Ideally, you want to be just at least doing a brief check once a month. Now, this isn't a full detailed analysis. This is a case of just, for example, you have 5 or 6 competitors. I'm just thinking in terms of the months of the year, where each month you look at one in particular, and all you're doing is looking at what's their financial position, what are they offering that's potentially different, what's their unique selling proposition, and what are they doing in terms of their marketing and their followers. And if you're looking at those particular things, and ideally you keep a spreadsheet so you can monitor, for example, things like the following, things like the service offering. It doesn't need to be a big drawn out process, but in terms of when you are preparing a business growth plan and your marketing plan, you need to have this information available, because ultimately, if you were ever wanting to go for finance, for example, the finance houses will want to know that you know who your competitors are and what makes you different. But also, like I said, it's for your own benefit. And a business growth plan, I'm always banging on about this. This should be a working document that you can refer back to. And it could be literally an appendix to that is where you kind of put the competitor analysis, where you're checking it month by month, or every 3 months, or every 6 months, however often that you choose. But what I am saying to you is make sure that you do your competitor analysis. It is important to know what they are doing, because you could be missing out on massive opportunities, or even putting your business potentially at risk because you think everything is hunky-dory and that you think you've got the amazing service, you've got the amazing offering. One of your competitors comes in, does something completely different, game changes the industry, and if you're not watching what they're doing, you're the one that then is going to be left on the side of the road. So yes, it is important to do your competitor analysis, but what you don't want to do is go down what I call a rabbit hole. So don't go into so much depth that you lose track of why you're doing it, and you lose track of actually the priorities. And in a business, the main priorities are lead generation, making sure that you're delivering the products or services that you're offering, and getting that cash in the bank so that cash flow is flowing. So I hope you've got some benefit. If you would like some help in terms of creating your business growth plan or your marketing plan and helping you look at your competitor analysis, then please just make sure that you just pop in the comments plan, or send me a DM that also says plan. So hopefully see you all very soon, and hope you have a fantastic day. Take care, everyone.